everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 action thriller Becky, a film that is directed by Jonathan Millet and Carrie Murnion, and it stars Kevin James, Lulu Wilson, Joe McHale, Amanda Brugel, Robert Malliot, and Ryan McDonald. Now then, where to start with this film? This film focuses on Lulu Wilson's character Becky, who's a troubled teenager. I think she's 13, 14 years old. A bit of a rogue, bit of a rebel. Her mother passed some time ago, so she's looked after by, obviously, her father, played by Joe McHale. They're going out to their country retreat, I guess you could call it, spend some time together. His new girlfriend and her son turns up, which doesn't please Becky at all. Meanwhile, at a fairly local prison, white supremacist leader Kevin James, who plays Dominic, is essentially, he breaks out of prison with some of his cohorts, shall we say, and he basically ends up at the cabin where Becky and her family are, because there is a key hidden down in the cellar that will unlock something that he really wants. Brutalizes the family, and Becky is just not going to stand for that at all and decides she's going to fight back. Right, that's the basic premise of this film. What do I think of Becky? Well, my God, Lulu Wilson has grown up, hasn't she? Goodness me, this film kind of shocked me. The violence in it shocked me. Massively so. I mean, you're probably going to hear this comparison a lot if you watch and read a few reviews on this film. It's like a rated R Home Alone. And that's, you know, it's a simple comparison to make, but it's fairly accurate. And the things I like about this film is I thought it was well cast. I thought Kevin James was really good as this white supremacist, you know, leader. He was believable. He felt menacing. And I like it when actors try to do different things, and I appreciate it, and I'm really glad that Kevin James chose to do this role. Lulu Wilson, really good in this film. I mean, Becky's not a character to like. You don't like her particularly well. She's not a nice person in this film at all. But she does really well, and again, a brave choice from her, I think. I mean, I know she's known for the horror genre and things like that. She's been in some scary movies and stuff. But she's taken a step to the side here as she's growing up and showing that she's got other skills, I suppose. Everybody else in this film is kind of there. Joe McHale's Joe McHale, you know. I can take him or leave him in pretty much all his films. He's Joe McHale, and he's Joe McHale in this film. He's just, you know, kind of himself. So everybody else in this film, apart from Kevin James and Lulu Wilson, are kind of just there. They do a fine job, but it's these two characters that, for me, I thought were the main focus of this film. There is Robert Malliot character who plays Apex, who used to be in the WWE years ago in the Attitude Era, and he's been in things like Sherlock Holmes and a few other films. He's that big giant of a guy. He's okay in this film, and it's probably a film I've seen him act most in. He gets quite a few lines in this film, and he's the one with the morals in the group of criminals, I suppose. So he does okay, to be fair. But this film, it's hard really to talk about it, because it's a hard film to like, because sometimes you're watching the violence in this film that Becky is instigating, 14-year-old girl, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel right. But it's entertaining, and trust me when I say they don't hold back on the violence and the graphic imagery. There's a scene with an eyeball in this that is Hostel-like, if you know what I mean. If you remember that film Hostel, it's quite shocking, I think, the violence in this, and for me as well, it did at times feel a little bit uncomfortable, and I wasn't sure what message, if they were trying to give a message out or what. I couldn't really nail it down, because I just couldn't get past this violence being done by Becky. I mean, she makes these criminals, Kevin James, the leader of them, and the rest of them, she makes them look like bunny rabbits. She's one violent girl. Interesting where they could go with this character, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I think, I'm not sure who this film is for, is the message I'm trying to get across. Who is this film for? It's an interesting film for Kevin James and Lulu Wilson to do. It's a fun concept, if you like, an R-rated Home Alone type film. But I'm just not sure who this film was directed for. I think it's probably going to get mixed reception by many, because like I say, I'm not sure who it's directed at. It's not directed at horror audiences, even though there's quite a lot of gore and violence in this film. It's not really directed to action audiences, because there's not really much action to speak of, and it's certainly not a comedy. It's not even a dark comedy, I don't think, in any way, shape or form. So I'm just not sure which audience member this film is for and who's going to get an awful lot out of it. But saying that, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a well made film. Some of the violence did make me feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's because she's 13, 14, my son is 14, and the thought of him, I don't know. Maybe it's me, maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, who knows. But yeah, I do think it's a decently made film. I'm just not sure it was exactly what I wanted. But I think 7 out of 10 is a fair score for this film. So that's my review for Becky. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and of course I'll be back for more content and reviews on Screen Stars very, very soon.